Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Let's wait a couple of minutes for Boppy.
Was there a meeting yesterday?
Very short one.
Because it was holiday here, so.
Let me text Boppy. Okay, surprisingly, Boppy is not answering his phone, but oh, I think he's connecting. Hey, Boppy.
Hey, sorry guys. It was a meeting with, you'll have to take my word for it, really important people I couldn't hang up on. I apologize.
You mean we're not important?
You definitely aren't as important as those guys.
Like the honesty.
But
I can guess you were talking to White House then.
so I apologize. Let's get rolling. Wait, we don't have any. We got. Oh yeah, we've got Todd from Alpha Wave. We've got Trent. We got Ahmad, who's good. And is there any other company we're missing?
Synopsis.
Right?
Synopsis and Cadence.
Cadence was was a long shot, but at least Synopsis is somebody we're missing. Okay. All right, then we might as well get ahead and we might as well talk the two logistics issues. So let's see, Todd and Ahmad. I think it'd be good for you guys to participate as well. Victor, who are you with, if you don't mind asking?
Oh, no, I'm independent, just here to.
You're independent. Okay. So, so we're okay. In that case, this might end up being an easier meeting because we're trying to we had two goals for this meeting. One was figure out how to how to organize ourselves for the white paper that we want to do. We have a session reserved for it in the OCP tutorial session, the white paper on IP metrics, directed FI IP evaluation metrics. And the second is how do we want to organize ourselves for BO 2.1 logistically? Do we want to make it an addendum? Do we want to make it, do we want to redo the whole spec? Those are the two discussions that we want to figure out for today. So we'll do the first one. Shahab, maybe you get started and then I'll send an email to Madhubita and ask her if she or somebody else from Synopsys can join. And we'll see what the story is.
Okay, I think some of you are part of this discussion, and we are actively review this Excel sheet or Google sheet. These are the parameters that we think.
Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
So if for Todd, I think you're the new participant. So basically what we did was we had a directed FI workshop about, is it 2 months ago or 3 months ago now? And one of the things we want to do is we want to create a set of metrics by which anybody's FI IP can be evaluated. Even though the values on the metrics are going to be private, the methodology is public. And that's the purpose. And the purpose is to produce a joint white paper on this topic. And this is a list of metrics that Shahab developed along with group input over the past few weeks.
Thanks.
Okay.
Just want to add one more comment. The goal is not actually to compare the files. The goal is actually to just have a common methods for measuring these parameters. And if any other parameters is needed, we should list it here and basically provide in the white paper, provide the method to measure it accurately based on the same format. Then this is only making sure that everybody the numbers that everybody is reporting is uniform. And these are all the parameters that we have. The first section is something related to the type of the file that we are talking about. Is it serial or parallel? Clock and data rate, is it SDR, DDR, QDR, or any kind of signaling method? Sorry, I have to sometimes pick some company's name, nothing intentional. For example, can do, you can say CNRZ or something like that. Is it single-ended or differential? Logical link? Is it unidirectional, bidirectional, duplex? We are seeing, for example, Elian is proposing some kind of simultaneous bidirectional. Then we're going to make sure we are capturing those information. Is it NRZ, PAM4, any other PAMs methods or different levels? IO swing type, are we targeting to be partial or rail to rail? Are we recovering the clock or doing clock forwarding? Termination is required, single, double terminated, or no termination. The blocks that you see, there is a yellow on it. We agree that we need to somehow report this parameters, but it needs a little bit further discussion how we should capture this information. Again, we don't have a problem or disagreement on reporting this, but how we're going to report it is the question that we're going to resolve in a couple of weeks. One is the maturity of the IP. One is the silicon status. If they can publicly announce any customer for those file that they have. And a specification of the IP licensing. Is it free or there is a fee for it or something like that? And it's an open or proprietary organization if it is open. If there is reference to those standards, then please provide the link. Packaging technology that they are targeting, is it for organic? Is it for bridge, interposer, fan out, or for 3D? And we're gonna leave one area that for providing comments, mainly for marketing. These are the general information about the file, and then we're gonna get to the link parameters, number of data lane for a unique block that they have, number of data wires. Sometimes the number of data wires and the number of data lanes are different. Number of clock wires that they need, number of other wires, for example, if they need FEC or auxiliary or anything. Is there any mandatory sideband? And if there is a mandatory sideband, how many number of lanes? And the last one is target speed per data link. These are the information just related to the simple link parameters. All these parameters is most probably not related to the process development. And then we do have some other information that is mainly related to the process environment and what kind of process we are targeting. First of all, what's the process technology? Number of power supplies and value, exact value of the I/O swing, minimum data bump spacing on X, minimum data bump spacing on Y, a unit pitch front per die, and unit depth per die. And then we're going to get to the total area, which is TX plus RX clocking in the X dimension and TX plus RX and clocking in the Y dimension. Another parameter that we are targeting is how many TX and RX macro can we share on one clocking block. Some of the IPs, they can have one clock for all the 16 lane or 32. And some of the PHYs, they can have only one clock for 4 lanes. We're going to distinguish that because it's the overhead to the rest of the system. Maximum stack unit, it means that how many rows of those I/O we can go in from the edge of the chip towards the middle of the AC. We had a long discussion about latency and bit error rate. I'm going to skip this orange one. I have a separate drawing for that. Are we doing retry or not? And how much is the reach? And this is, I think, based on the calculation. We don't need to make it this color. Let me change it to the pink one. And the rest of the information here is going to get calculated, except number of substrate layers for reported edge density. As you can see, some of this information, like mainly for section 2B, the one that I'm highlighting, it depends on the process. Correct me, Majid, if the final conclusion was that we're going to report 2 values. One is what is measured by silicon, and what is the projection for 5 nanometer TSMC.
Correct.
And because some of the IP may not be available in 5 nanometers, but if you do have it, for example, in 45 nanometer, you report it based on that technology. But if there is an option that you also repeat these numbers for your projected data. Then let's get to the latency discussion. We had a fair amount of time of discussion on the latency. We decided to report at least 3 numbers. One is T0, which we call it from the edge of the input of the serializer to the output of the deserializer. T0 is the latency from the beginning of the serializer to the end of serializer with, and the associated bit error rate to it. We're going to report this number twice in the latency because one is actually normalized to the 1 gigabit per second, and the other number is what's the best value that you can get. Maybe your SerDes can handle 2 gigabit per second. Maybe your SerDes can only handle 500 meg. That's why this number is going to appear twice. Same thing for T1 latency, which is the definition of the beginning of the forward error correction or CRC to the end of it. Again, with the respect to 1 gig or the best rate that you can do, or any rate that you can. And the third number is going to be the latency with the retry. The bit error rate, targeted bit error rate with the retry, and we just want to say yes and no. There is no T3 reported for that because we don't know how many times we have to repeat. Those were all the information that we gathered. If I missed anything, Bapi, Quinn, Majid, I name you guys because, Boone, you guys are always attending those meetings and you know what we discussed. This is the status of the table. The next step is to go over the yellow ones and resolve the minor things that how we're going to report that the IP is mature or not, or silicon status. And if we fix this 4, which I believe is going to get only 1 session, after that, the goal is to assign this basically blocks to every individual and ask them to write a paragraph about it, to how to report or provide basically a guideline how to measure these numbers or how to write it down or how to extract it. For example, majority of them we already gone through. For example, this one, we already had the fair amount of discussion on this complex one, how to report the latency based on a 1 gig or 10 gig, whatever it is. I believe it's a very minor things left. It's just a write-up, but that's what we need your help if you want to be participating, if you are willing to participate on the white paper. Bobby, did I miss anything, or Majid, others?
Don't think so. Think you covered. I think I think the basic output is a document, not the spreadsheet. And as Shahab said, with sections on explanation, I think we want people to author different sections, and then other participants to review the sections.
Yeah, for I'm gonna pick one randomly. For example, we need someone to write a paragraph about clock data rate and say, okay, this is SDR, this is DDR, this is QDR, or someone explain the signaling type, NRZ, PAM4.
But I think if the focus really is common method of measuring parameters, it's not for each technology to be written, but rather synthesis of methodologies that is applicable to all technologies, right?
Exactly. For example, the definition of what kind of signal we call NRZ, what kind of signal it is PAM4. If we are
Right.
saying termination, again, in this section, I'm assuming people talk about 3 ways of doing termination, not termination, source termination, destination termination, or doubly terminated.
I think you, in your drawing, you didn't kind of quickly you should mention for people who are new the 1 gig versus maximum.
Yeah, we had, I think this was the longest discussion we had among the teams. I personally prefer to have 1 gig, but I heard enough from others that forcing people to report 1 gig is not fair. That's why we are reporting 2 numbers here. One is if your serializer can tolerate more or less than 1 gigabit per second for measuring the latency. And another one is we want to actually make sure that you normalize it to 1 gig. The reason that we don't want to go with different numbers is I'm sure people is going to pick the highest number to reduce the latency, but that's not a real data because this is the edge that we're going to communicate with ASIC, which is place and route, and most probably you cannot handle more than 2 gigabit per second here.
Hey, Shahab.
Yes.
Madhumita has been nice enough to join us. So,
Hi,
hey, I'm just going to say, do you have any questions? Yeah, and Madhumita on what we're trying to do and next steps?
Thanks, Papi, for inviting. No, I don't have any questions so far. I think I kind of just understanding what
Okay.
the kind of
And
goal.
excellent. This is a follow-on from what we discussed in October at the
Right.
yeah. And basically what we're going to do is the regular meetings are on Tuesdays from 9 to 10 from now on for the next 4 weeks for us to sort of get everybody to sort of produce something that at least something and at least an outline of a document and a deck we can talk to.
Okay. And do we voluntarily take the topics or?
Yes. I think maybe Shab, that's a good question. How are we going to split? Who's going to do what?
I think first is going to be volunteer, then we're going to ask.
Yeah, you're either going to volunteer or be volunteered.
I'm going to pick number 2. That's it.
So Bapi, this meeting is on every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, 9 to 10.
9 to 10. Okay, I
It
would
was a
also
9:30
like to
to
be a
10?
part of this.
Of course, same. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll add it to my calendar. I mean, I wasn't aware of this meeting, so I'll just add it to my calendar and is this spreadsheet available publicly or on Google Drive or somewhere?
Yeah.
Yes. I will add you to the list.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
So
And
Shahab, for the people who here, do you want to sort of let anybody pick and choose which ones they want to write about,
Sure.
and then maybe the remainder ones we can allocate. I mean,
later.
Kevin's the only one who's missing, right? Everybody else is.
Okay, any volunteer? Just Before going that, I want to actually give the chance to Todd also, since I think he's attending for first time, and we've definitely we want to hear feedback from the three large IP vendors company that we know: Synopsys, Cadence, Alphabet. Todd, do you have any feedback for us?
Well, no, thanks for the call out. Yeah, no, I'm just kind of looking it all over. I'm just covering for Letitia, who's kind of the real expert in this. But I guess the thing that comes to mind with this table is just, yeah, how is it going to be used to like create like charts and stuff? So I guess the parameters are interesting, but it almost seems like filling it out with particulars might help flush out, ways of using it, or gaps that need to be included. So I think what is the idea to compare like a bunch of wires, UCIe, all the different die-to-die interfaces. Is that correct?
The first goal is not to compare. The first goal is to just come up with the common methodology that if anybody wants to report those numbers, should or we recommend or suggest to use the following methods to report the numbers. At least this group right now doesn't have any goal to compare anything against each other.
We would like to. That's the ultimate goal. But
But right now,
realistic to set a early goal just to agree on what the column, the metrics are.
Okay.
And we'd
Well, I
like
mean,
to have
yeah,
someone volunteer to go through and fill it out with us. That would be awesome.
gotcha.
Yeah, and I think to test that methodology, it would be good to create the most obvious ones like UCIe, bunch of wire, maybe PCIe even, or whatever else we have in mind. It's not just die to die to answer your question, I think, Todd.
Well, but again, like the having these metrics, the end goal is to help people understand which standard is going to be best for their application, right?
Correct.
Again, sorry, I'm jumping in the middle. The goal of this exercise right now at this moment is not to compare, but we're gonna make sure that, for example, if you're talking about beachfront density, if someone reports this unit bandwidth in each direction, the number that they get calculated follows this format.
Mm-hmm.
Not, for example, including TX, not including RX. Somebody, even among us, if we are confused, did you include TX? Are you talking about TX and RX together, or it's a one direction, two direction? That it's a little bit confused. For example, we have seen a lot of reported number in industry that people are assuming a very weird number of layers in the package. We want to make sure that we when we say, okay, how much is the shoreline density, at least we report number of substrate layers. But again, immediate goal is a white paper. Hopefully, Bobby, I think Cliff was supporting it, could be a contribution to OCP. That, hey, anybody who is developing a FI and wants to provide an spec sheet for the FI that they develop, we recommend to use this methodology to extract the numbers for their spec table. If we could agree everybody, and then there's going to be a push from the buyer side that force people to go to this methodology, then we can have a bank of the data, then we can compare them among us.
But to come back to your original question, the goal here is we're assuming that there are buyers of FIs, that there's a healthy supply of FI IP, and for all of these sellers of IP to commit to this specific methodology when they're reporting numbers for their IP, even if they're reporting it in under wraps. So if you're reporting latency, I'm reporting it this way. in the methodology published in this paper. So the buyer of IP gets to make an apples to apples comparison. Now, if on top of that, they want to make that data public, I think the spreadsheet will be a good home for that data.
But Bapi, one related question is, if you have a standard, let's go by example. If you have a UCIe standard and multiple IP vendors, they're selling it, the goal here would not be, their unique differences, but would be what standard says. Is that true or wrong? No.
I think for the most part, we're sticking, we're also for some stuff that's not specified in standard necessarily, right? Like power, we're saying this is how you should measure power. The standard I don't believe the standard says anything about that.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Some of it is a standard based, some of it is not.
Yeah. So, but these are things you will care about as a buyer, but aren't necessarily covered in the standard.
Okay, got it.
But
Thanks.
add to your question, Majid, if for example, I'm making the case, if I have a UCIe IP right now, and I have basically a method on top of UCIe, then I'm gonna ending up having two tables.
Right, okay.
But it's basically like, if one UCI event, yeah. So it is to cover both. What
Exactly.
what the standard doesn't say.
Any other question, or should we ask for volunteers for any section?
Just to sort of harmonize a little bit what's expected for volunteers. So on the type, serial, or parallel, or whatever, we're gonna or single-ended versus differential.
Mhm.
The paragraph is gonna say what is single-ended, what is differential,
Correct.
and what are the conditions why one uses one versus the other. Is that what's expected to go to that?
Not the conditions of use, just a
Not
little
condition.
description. This is why ABC.
Okay, very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, very simple. That when we say differential, we mean this type of signal.
Okay.
When we say single-ended, we mean this type of signal.
Right, okay.
When we say it's a SDR, what do we mean by SDR? When we say DDR, what do we mean by DDR? Majid, should I nominate you for box 6?
Sure.
I have a reason for that, sorry.
No, that's okay, because you have to add more
Actually,
than PAM4.
Exactly, and
Majid-
you are qualified for CNRZ and
Okay.
talking about the CNRZ here.
Okay, can do. You could put yeah.
Shah, Majid is a good point though. Should we have another column which kind of says this is important to the user, but not actually explicitly defined in the standard?
It's a nice to have, yeah, if anybody...
Or it's something that at least people who are writing the white paper may want to have a column G here that says standard specific, standard supplied, or standard specify, or not in the scope.
The reason, Bapi and Majid, I don't want to basically comparison in the white paper is because it becomes people opinion.
No, it's not nothing to do with comparison. It is more to the point of like, a standard specifies whether it's NRZ or not, but a standard doesn't specify how
Power.
power, as an example.
Like if you go through this list very quickly, probably up to 9, it's all standard specified.
Correct.
And then
Even 22 all the way to 27
right.
is a standard specified.
Right.
And
So
some of the standard specify bump spacing.
Right. So somebody may come, for example, in our case, definitely there is a case that we could say we're extending the reach, something like that. Then you're right that every IP vendors can come and say, I can do more better than standard. Maybe that's a mode or something.
Yeah, that's why every individual vendor has their own table.
Okay, yeah, right. But that's not the goal here. You're right.
Yeah. But if someone from I nominate you, Boppy, for example, from Bo or from UCIE or someone from PCIe comes and says, okay, I'm gonna reproduce this table for a specific standard, then feel free to do it. Like if you
Oh,
recall
that's
in
who we're
our
missing. We're missing our fearless leader. He will be here soon. Okay.
yeah, for example, if you remember the workshop that we had, we opened up with the two talk, one by Leticia from AlphaWave. She didn't talk about AlphaWave. She just talked about UCIe, and then Elot just talked about bunch of wire, not anything about Blue Cheetah implementation. What do you extract exactly from a spec? Okay. Anybody who wants to be volunteer for any of this?
So we should probably have three set. Are you going to just own all the sections? I'm asking, not or do you want separate owners for each section?
I want to actually give people freedom to pick any place that you like first, and then
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you could add my name for 4 as well. I guess that's related.
Wait, first of all, how many volunteers do we have? We've got like Ahmad. Are you gonna volunteer? There's only one answer,
Nah.
man.
That's why you're here. I like
Can't find my mute button.
I don't mention, but there is a standard body that you know, the chair says, if you're not contributing, I don't want you here.
Ooh, that's some
And it's a
heavy-duty stuff.
it's a big company, very big company.
then I'm sure Ahmad is gonna pick up serial or parallel.
Okay, so
Sure.
I'm just doing a count. So we got Shahab, Ahmad, Majid, Madhumita, Letitia or Sony 5, Ila the 6.
Queen.
Quinn, do you want to? Quinn's like I don't ever see him as a circuits guy, but if he wants to step up, who the hell? I'm not going to stop him.
Well, I think people can go to their company. I'm not going to do this myself. Huh?
Quinn, what's
I
the
don't
story?
think I'm the. Yeah, I don't think I'm the right person.
Well, you can be a reviewer, right?
I'll be happy to be a reviewer.
Okay, so Quinn's a reviewer, and
But
Ram.
unfortunately, I don't have anyone else to hand it off to.
Yeah, you want to contribute or review?
So I'm actually looking at this spreadsheet on my phone. Can you give me some time to look at the spreadsheet? And if I'm able to contribute to some topic, I'll definitely love to contribute.
Okay,
But I can let you know
you got
offline.
time. So roughly that's 7. Okay.
Papi, can you go to the section 3?
Yeah, Shahab's hosting it.
2B or section 3.
3, yeah. I can volunteer for section 3.
In section 3, there is nothing there. It's number of sources.
Oh, okay. So then I can
Pick the best
volunteer
one.
for section
I was
2.
gonna take that
All
one.
right, I like Madhumita already. Very, very smart.
No,
Why
I can
there is nothing? Because it's calculation.
Exactly.
Right,
The,
right.
the,
Okay.
the purple
I mean, you
color is
don't
calculation.
wanna. Okay. I thought that's the.
No, actually, we should put that in, Shahab. At least they say, hey, these are derived parameters you should be interested in. Here's how we calculate them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, this is the one I would say many, you know, in industry, people are looking for the edge density, area density. I mean, this is very easy to calculate, but yeah, there are.
I think there's merit in this, Shahab.
Sure.
But I think one challenge is if we're going beyond die to die and other standards, you sort of have to make it more universal.
We can do that in Rev 2, right? I mean, at least we'll get one thing right in Rev 1, and then we can always, like, if there's a lot of demand and people ask exactly that question, that's sort of motivation for us to do Rev 2.
Okay.
So we got up at 7 authors, 54. So we're looking at around 6 to 7 per person. That's what we're looking at roughly.
Okay, let's go from the top.
And Trent, I don't know whether you want to Is this something you can contribute to?
I was looking at the list here. I could contribute to a lot of the packaging related questions,
Great.
like 18 and then the bump pitch, those types of things. Physical area. Yeah,
Excellent.
18, yeah, 32,
32,
33,
33.
34, 35. Yeah, pretty much 32 through 37. Oh, 36
I
and
think
37. So that is amortized single pair physical area. Oh, so that's not the entire phi. That's just a single pair.
correct. But that's
Uh,
okay. I can work with you on this one to clarify.
okay, all right, okay.
Because this three of them needs a little bit of
Mm.
clarification that
Yeah, and the max stacked units, that's one I had a little bit of difficulty with before, so I may want to.
this is the max stack units. How many units you can stack?
Yeah,
Why
so the
you-
complication though is I think on 18 when we talk about package technology, sometimes if we start stacking too many, it may drive a different package technology, but but it's probably not a big deal. I think in generally how many can you stack, based on the phi is fine.
Yeah, I think we should move this one up if you're 100%.
But in a way, you're right that definitions should capture limitations of whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna move this one here if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. Shahab, can you also be sure that I have access to this one? I think you did give me access in the past, but I'm not sure if it's this version.
We just put a link to this in the chat window. Anybody who wants it can.
Okay,
Sure.
great.
That's great, Bob. You just give me 1 second. I need to correct the color. I moved this one up, by the way. Number of substrate later for reported edge density.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I'm gonna assign it to you as well.
Yeah, so and so that's good that they're next to each other, because the max stack units and the number of substrate layers I think are related to each other. Because I think we're reporting the edge density. Well, I guess it's all going to depend on how we define it, right? When we talk about edge density, which is what row
For most of this stuff, Turn, we can chat online, we can email.
yeah,
We have
that's
this
fine,
kind
yeah.
of drawing that we defined it in the past.
Mhm.
At least on the we have a picture for it, then we can basically review it and turn it to a text.
Great.
It's funny, I thought you had given access, but this particular link suddenly now says request access.
Yeah.
I think maybe did you move the around?
It's in your Gmail, I think. Is
Oh,
this you?
that's why. Right. Okay.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
actually.
No, but I am signed in with my email. Oh, I'll just send you a note to request it.
Okay, please send me a note on the request, and I will add everyone.
Yeah.
Looks
Okay.
like I don't have everybody's email here.
Yeah, looks like I am also. My Gmail is there, and I cannot access this.
Okay. Just send me a request, and I will approve.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can volunteer for 2A.
For 2A,
Yes.
number of data lanes. That's great. Thanks.
So is this like a kind of drawing diagram? Like how do you want to kind of describe all of
I'm
this?
gonna give you guys the drawing, and
Okay.
most of the drawing we do have, but feel free to modify it, and it's gonna be a text. One
Got it.
paragraph for each of this lane. For example, what do we mean by number of data links? What do we mean by number of data wires?
Hey, one shared Google Doc, right? That's what we're going to work on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Ahmad, we didn't hear from you.
I guess you assigned me something, but
No, I didn't assign anything yet.
oh, you didn't assign me
I'm
anything?
gonna save Kevin for fake and
Okay.
beat rate. Then let's see. I think up here
Let's see
there is
what we can
a
fish
lot
here.
you can do.
I can
Fucking
probably
Ray.
volunteer for the FEC latency, 41 through 44. But yeah, let me know like what exactly do you need here? I mean, is it like are we defining some latency numbers like what UCI defines or
Mainly this one that I shared basically. We have to
okay,
get this one to the right thing. We are measuring latency from 1 gig.
to 1 gig?
Uh,
Okay, okay,
and there's gonna be different numbers, 1 gig or maximum data line rate.
got it. Okay,
What is the rate that we are measuring for T0 and T1, and the bit error rate associated to it, and bit error rate with the retry.
okay.
Then I'm gonna assign you, Kevin, and myself to this. Do you wanna basically pick something, or should I just assign you the beginning ones? Serial, clocking.
Sure. I mean, assign me something, and yeah. Um, it's Ahmad with an A.
Oh, sorry.
So we got Shahab, we got you, Kevin, and Elad also. So
For latency, you mean, or?
no, in general, like for roles.
Sure. I'm gonna wait to see who is not picking anything, then I will volunteer myself for those. And also I'm gonna spend a little bit time with Kevin and Ram for the latency. Bobby, do you want to take this part, which is the difficult one, this 4?
Wait, what? No, why would I want to take a difficult part again?
Maturity. Maturity of the IP, silicon status, publicly.
Because you're important, Bapi.
Sure.
Or anybody who actually work in the IP.
Wait, didn't we, jokes aside, didn't we delete them saying that's not relevant for a phi comparison? By definition, you have mature IP maturity.
No,
And
we decided to make it yellow, and next meeting we're gonna finalize it. But
because these are not relevant to evaluating a phi IP, right? That's what we sort of, I mean, the silicon status is, public license customers is, and sure, I can, a specification IP license is, where the fees for as those three. The first one makes, by definition, I think if you're evaluating phi, it's there.
yeah, but we wanted to see it's a many vendors, or it's a spec, or it's a spec under development,
But we're at the point we're evaluating IP, right? The whole point is somebody selling specific IP for a buyer to evaluate, right? By that definition, spec is available. The buyer knows how many vendors exist.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone used this methodology for a spec under development, not for an IP.
Okay. My guess is Elad will have a lot to say on this. We could put my name down, but I'm reasonably sure he will want to do this in the end. I think, or he'll delta whatever I come up with.
At least we need one reviewer at the end.
Sorry?
At least at the end, I think every section needs 2 owners. That one write
one
and
reviewer,
review.
yes.
Okay. Any volunteer for signaling for IO swing, clocking, and termination? These are the 3 easy ones.
Maybe you could extend it to me. I gotta get help from Armin on all the.
Don't make Armin to call me and yell at me. Okay, this portion, anybody?
What about the IP cadence? I guess who else?
I think we are not
I see.
hearing from Alpha Wave. I think we need some help from Alpha Wave too.
Right, correct.
Yeah,
Because
and
I think
think
those
either
guys, they have access to everything, right?
either Letizia or Sony can I think we'll have to offline jump in.
Yeah, so
Can
I think
sorry.
we already covered everything except couple of things like organization.
maybe I can come to you and, sort of some of those things do together, since you guys have more larger coverage.
Okay, I think so far we have only this 3 that is not assigned.
Oh, that's got to be either Leticia or Elad.
I think these are the very simple one. Anybody can take it. What is the process technology, number of power supplies, and IO swing?
Yeah. No, at least we're describing what it is, right? Yeah. Okay. Man, do I have a lot to say about retry? All right. Yeah, don't put me in like
You have to deal with the person behind all retry.
I'm gonna put this to Alpha Wave, the retry, because they are UCIe
yeah. It's like-
or PCIe.
You can put my name as well, because our implementation also supports retry.
Oh, all right.
That's great.
So, sorry, Ram, you're from D Matrix too, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, anybody else volunteer for this tree? Then I'm gonna start from the list. Anshu,
I
Hey,
think
I'm both.
IP suppliers would be best for those, no? Or doesn't matter really.
Yeah.
I think it's a simple one.
No, give it to Leticia Rela Shahab.
Okay.
Somebody who's like developing IP, please. Either Elad or
Yeah, I think these are good, I think. And
Yeah.
we will put Elad as a reviewer for everything.
that
Okay,
would be
thanks everyone. We do have this. I think we're gonna share a folder which I'm gonna put all the figures there just for reference. And one basically Google document that feel free to just type this as a header of the paragraph or section and then write something on it, then we can review. What should be the first deadline, Bobby, for it?
Well, we can decide that next Tuesday, right? At least on Tuesday, everybody should come back with some sense of how long they think they'll take.
But can you work backward from your target date at
Yeah,
least?
that's why I want to see some draft by next week, next Tuesday, Bob.
Oh, you want to see a draft? So our target date, the Chiplet Summit is on 2/7, right? We at least want a draft white paper. We can decide whether we want to share it. So one question, if you write all this, do you guys think you'll need clearance from your corporation to publish? I'm asking. They're saying,
These are definitions, aren't they? So,
yeah.
Is our definition only.
So I don't think, well, unless it's public.
No, I think most of them is public, Bob, even Wikipedia search or something.
Okay, so that actually, no, you just hit on a really good point. Should we ask for somebody to even include a reference on which they're basing the definition, or is it
Of
just
course. Why
okay?
not?
So you are pretty. Can you do like a template of what a section should look like? You're usually
I will do that.
okay. Please,
Sure.
I think if you do that, then so 2/7. I guess we need to have at least a 0.5 draft by the 16th, right? Which means you should at least have a template of some kind by the 9th.
Yeah, I'm gonna send out the template by tomorrow noon.
Oh, no, not you. I mean, talking about a template of and a work estimate by the 9th. Like once you have the template and people know like, okay, it's going to take me this long to do it. We should have all that by the 9th. And by the 16th, we should have a 0.5 draft. It'll take us about 2 weeks to clean up.
Sure, but I like to see something by next week. Next week is gonna be 9.
Next week is 9, yeah.
And this is actually a real test to see if people are committed or not.
Oh my God.
I'm not expecting everything there, but at least an activity is good. Otherwise, if we wait 2 weeks and then we decide to assign it to someone else, Bobby, we're gonna run out of time.
Hey Shahab, I sent you a request on this document. I just had Johnny and start running on this. Maybe I can help to review some of this later.
Okay, I will do that.
Thanks.
Hey, Shahab, this is Anshu. I'm more of a business person. I don't have the background or the depth to kind of contribute. So I'm sorry, I'm just listening in to absorb as much as I can.
That's fine. I didn't want to ignore people who are on the call.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thanks.
By the way, I didn't get any. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah, I use my Gmail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the request. I still haven't seen access.
I just granted.
Yeah, okay. I think it's for the .candu@gmail.
Yeah, I think I approved 5 requests. Ahmad, Trent, James, Matumita, and Majid. Okay, Bobby, should we say that at least we really like to see some activity by next week, next Tuesday?
Sure. At least maybe a work estimate, or whether you can be done by everything by a 0.5 draft by a commitment to a 0.5 draft by 2/16 and a complete 1.0 by the end of the month.
Gonna make sure that you guys have access to the doc. You have all the information that you need, everything, and some estimate when you can deliver the final. Okay, that's all I have, Bobby. I think I took majority of time. I think you wanted to.
Yeah, I want to spend 5 minutes on 2 quick issues. One, Quinn, do you guys have an auditorium or not by any chance for February 2nd?
I don't think I have an auditorium that's going to be big enough.
No worries. Okay. It is during the year. Second thing, should and maybe we're going to have to push this to next week. Should we make Bo 2.1 an addendum or an update of the whole baseline Bo 2.2.0 spec? I prefer an addendum, but I was about to because I think if you edit the whole spec, will make some changes somewhere and not know that it changed from the baseline spec. But I'm happy to be reversed. This is not the hill I want to die on in some sense.
Can you elaborate a little bit more, Bobby, on this?
Well, if it's an addendum, so right now the candidates for Bo 2.1, as I understand them, are your optical stuff, Ahmad's IoT stuff, assuming they're still in flight, and the memory things from Kevin. And so there are 2 ways of publishing this. One is to take the old Bo 2.0 spec and insert these, but republish the whole document. The other way is to just take these 3 things and say, this is where they fit into. This one is a new Bo mode. This one's a new Bo mode. And so it fits into, it is compatible with the Bo modes identified in the baseline spec, or it's not compatible. And that's it. You just define a separate document with these 3 addenda, with these 3 new changes, but don't edit the original spec in any way.
I propose the second method. We treat them as 3 individual things.
But they'll be put into one document as a release at the same time. But yeah.
And with the chance that we combine it with the original release of the Bo, maybe on the Bo 3.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So you
And
sweep.
actually, this becomes a good trend for future also. First, they become as a appendix or something, and then they become part of the final release.
Or informative first, I suppose, or
Yeah. So anybody have any preferences? I was about to sort of pull up all of Marek had this both spec and I was about to upload it, and I was like, wait, maybe we're better off just writing it as a separate document.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me. So
Okay. So your 2 out of the 3 contributors are in that bucket. Kevin can figure out. He says he'll roll with whichever way everybody rolls. So in that case, that's the path we'll go on.
Thank you.
Wait. Okay. So then what? While we have everybody, if if you have, we're trying to do this business workshop on 2/2, and the idea is to sort of zero in on very specific business concerns, not abstract ones, and whether you can think of some way of where the community or outside organizations can help. And then on 2/9, we have one more demo day at Lawrence Berkeley Labs. So if you have something that's touch and feel, that's a week of the Chiplet Summit, we're good. But this time the idea is to give 30-minute demo plus talks. It's a talk centered around the demo. So those are 2 events that we're sort of cooking up. So on the Chiplet Business Workshop, the idea is you have some specific item that some specific business blocker that you think it can be relieved in some fashion is worth addressing as a group. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks.
See you all on Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Thanks.
Topic,
Yeah.
are you gonna request a change in the OCP calendar?
Yeah, I can do that myself. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.